Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Matthew Dickerson. Tech Talk. Sit back and relax. It's time to talk technology.
Time for Tech Talk. And Matt Dickerson is our regular guest talking technology, and he collects all the stories from around the world with the tech that's going to be in your lounge room or in your car. And he's on the line now with us. G'day, Matt. How you going?
I've actually got this image, Nick, in my head of Jeff Beck playing the guitar on a vibrating bed. I just wonder what the sound would be like with that.
Well, the vibrato would be excellent, wouldn't it? You already had such good vibrato. It'd be fantastic. All right. Now, look, many people hate the whole technology connection thing. What cable goes where, what connects with what, how do I put my TV on my Telstra box or my DVD player? There's a bit of a solution coming. What's the story?
A bit of a solution. It really seems to me like we're solving a first world problem here, Nick, but that's what we do with technology. We often solve first world problems
first.
Exactly right. Sometimes we bring home that beautiful new big flat screen TV, we're going to mount it on the wall, or we have it on a beautiful TV cabinet, and then we look at all those leads and they all look pretty ugly actually, and they all make a mess, and you want this beautiful TV to look magnificent, but it just doesn't quite look right. So one company has come up with a solution to say, we'll get rid of all those. You don't need all those now. What you need to do is have a box somewhere else in the room. They're calling it a zero connect box. Well, it's not quite accurate because you still have to connect things to the zero connect box, but there's no physical connections needed to your TV. You can have that box somewhere else in the room within 10 metres of your TV. So most lounge rooms, that's going to cover pretty much anywhere else in the lounge room. Plug all your leads into that. Plug all your HDMI cables or your TV antenna or your streaming boxes, whatever, into that one box, put in some convenient location, and then sit back while it wirelessly streams the signal and the audio, if you want that, straight to your TV. So this is really just to make that lounge room look absolutely magnificent and run all those cables to wherever you find convenient rather than where the TV might happen to be.
Right, so this is where you've got your TV probably on your wall.
Probably.
And you want to avoid all the cables snaking up behind it and ruining the sort of aesthetic of it.
Correct. And I know when I put mine on my wall, it's put a hole in the gyprock, drop the cables down. Oh, there's a noggin there. I've got to get through that. So it's a fair bit of fiddling around. Brick walls, obviously even worse if you've got brick interior walls. But this way, don't worry about it. Just put it on the wall. Yes, you still need power. That's a minor problem, but that's one cable, and there might be a power point you could have behind the actual TV itself compared to all of those other cables. And then you could still put that box down on a TV cabinet below it, or you could have it sitting in the middle of the lounge room or off to the side, wherever you found convenient in that lounge room. Stick the Zero Connect box and away you go.
Right. Okay. So is that coming? Is that sort of now?
That's now. Now it's only, and I won't mention the brand name, but they're only going for their higher end TVs at the moment. They're 77, 83 and 97-inch TVs. That's half my lounge room, I think, 97-inch. But they're going for their higher end. But this is the first iteration of this. Firstly, you'll see this particular company will bring out smaller TVs as time goes on. But obviously competitors will say, oh, they've got that, we better have it as well. So you'll see competitors bring out other ones, and they may well have other size TVs as well. Give it a few years' time, I think you'll see it fairly common. But you could buy this right now today.
Right, very interesting. Okay, let's go from, well, if you've got one of these things, clearly you need to protect your house with some decent security. And there are such things as electronic deadbolts, sort of smart deadbolts. But there's a change coming to those as well.
We're talking about wireless things this morning, I think, Nick.
Yes.
And I'll jump back 100-odd years to Nikola Tesla, who wanted to have this worldwide power system. He was obsessed about it and could never get it working, and in the end kind of gave up. But Nikola contributed a huge number of things to our community, to our society today. This is an example of a very small version of what Nikola Tesla was trying to do. He wanted to have a big tower or a bunch of big towers that just had power anywhere, and you just hold a device up and that would just get its power. This particular example is a smart deadbolt, which are fairly common now. You can get a whole different range of them, different brands, etc. But power to the smart deadbolt is always the problem. hardwired into your door. That's a bit of a hassle. You've got to have some flexible cable run it inside your door. That's all too much of a problem.
Yeah, it's a lot of installation.
A lot of fiddle,
mucking
that's right,
around,
especially
yeah.
for the do-it-yourselfer at home. Then you go for ones that have rechargeable or replaceable batteries, and you seem like you've got to recharge it every month or replace the batteries every couple of months. And then you think, what about if I go on holidays and then I come back and the battery's gone flat while I've been on holidays? How do I get into my house? So that becomes a bit of a problem. So one company now has come up with the idea of wirelessly charging. So we're not talking about sending picture signals like the last story. We're not talking about sending mobile phone signals. We're talking about sending electricity from a device somewhere, again, within about 10 metres of the lock on your door, and it will keep that charged up by sending enough power. You can imagine it's not much, but enough power to keep the batteries in that charged up forever. So you don't have to worry about replacing those batteries, recharging them, all the rest of it. You can forget about that. The great thing about it is this device can handle more than one lock at a time. So you could put it somewhere near a couple of doors in your house and it would charge up those doors simultaneously. Again, a very small amount of charge. The FDA in the US has given this approval as being safe. Some people won't be convinced by that, Nick. I understand that.
Well, is it safe because of the voltage or amperage that's going through it?
It is low power, that's right. But the most important thing, and this is the thing that people get caught up with 5G and all sorts of wireless signals, it's what's known as non-ionising radiation. So when we have uranium sitting beside us, that's ionising radiation. That knocks an electron out of its shell into a different shell. This is non-ionising radiation, but also very low power. So it's not going to be bad enough or enough power to heat up cells in our body. It's not going to be ionising. It's not going to cause damage like radiation would. So effectively it's safe, but some people get a bit scared about this type of technology. But when the FDA gives approval for it, then you think that it's going to be fairly safe because they're fairly conservative in their approvals they give.
Yeah, I understand wireless charging, but my phone has to be physically touching the wireless charger. I'm not plugging it in; it's still physically touching. So there's this path for the electricity to go to. I'm still not really clear on the physics of sending electricity to charge a battery through the air.
Yeah, and essentially the wireless charging you're talking about, even though you think it's touching because physically they're together, the two coils, and this is a Nikola Tesla invention or discovery, if you like, those two coils are physically disconnected. And when you sit that wireless charger and your phone together, the plastic might be touching, but the two coils where the actual electricity is generated are separated. But as you say, by maybe a centimetre, maybe a few millimetres apart. When you start talking about 10 metres away, that starts to become a little bit scarier, you would think, in terms of what it's transmitting. It's an infrared beam that's actually being transmitted, but again, very low power and that frequency that's that non-ionising radiation. So it's not something you're going to transmit across and power your microwave with or power your TV with, but a lock that uses batteries that can be charged up. You can imagine a very small trickle charge is enough to keep them going.
Wow, I mean, it's just a product, but it's just got so many interesting implications for modern life.
That's right.
Clearly, it'll be something we'll see everywhere in various ways. Where if I knock my phone off the charger, it's at night it's not going to charge anymore. But if you've got 10 metres. Would they have to lock like a Bluetooth, or is it kind of charging everything in the 10 metres around it?
No, it's actually specifically for that lock. So the charger itself is specifically tuned to a frequency that's picked up by that lock. So if you walked in with your phone and sat it within that 10 metre range, it would do nothing. It's not designed to charge that. So it needs a receiver and a transmitter that are coupled, if you like, that are designed to work with each other. But there's nothing stopping other devices having that same sort of technology built in so that it could do that. But keep in mind, our phone, for example, is fairly power hungry. So to have enough power transmitted over a 10 metre range, you're wasting a lot of power because when you're transmitting power into the open air, it's going in all directions. And that was Nikola Tesla's problem 100 odd years ago. He wanted to be able to power light bulbs and all sorts of things, but the amount of power he would have needed at the central source would have been an incredible amount of power, and obviously a lot of that would have been wasted just going in every direction.
I always have so many questions, and thank goodness you have all of the answers. Matt, great to talk to you, and we'll do it again next time.
Right, yeah, thank you. Look forward to it.
Matt Dickerson, Tech Talk, and you can listen to a whole series of those podcasts called Tech Talk the Podcast with Matthew Dickerson. His latest episode has got all sorts of bombshells about Twitter, building the world's biggest offshore wind farm, and a whole lot more. It's ABC Illawarra. You're with Nick Reinberger through ABC Southeast as well.